Previously on Skyblock Survival with Andrew and Jerox. Hello everybody, I am Andrew and we are back for more Advancius Skyblock. We're on the second episode. I did a lot more filling in of the second layer of bamboo. It's not quite full, and somebody else is placing rails. They need to place some of the powered rails, but I'm doing the bamboo and someone else is doing rails. And then I'm also placing all the shroom lights above us. I also started working on our base in the Nether, and I got a saturation book from doing a harvest event and another sponge. Saturation gives permanent, well actually it stops us from getting hunger, so let's see if we can get it. Ooh, now our leggings have saturation, so that means that we're not going to get hungry anymore, and our health is going to go up. But I also have Mighty 1 and a couple other enchantments. I have Overload 3, so we have extra hearts down here with, I'm showing with my mouse in case you can't see. But we're going to go back to our base in the Nether. So this is what I have so far for our Nether base. I'll throw up another picture, but this is supposed to be the mining facility from Mustafar. I have a little bit of spawners over here, and we'll get more, and they fall into lava with the auto cell chest. And at the time of building this, I ran out of red and orange glass, so I just filled it in with some polished granite. But now I can go back and fill this in with red and orange glass. Why red and orange glass? It's because I want to make it look like lava, but you can actually see through it into the monster farm. And I'll show you something cool I did. I need and I moved the pickaxe to the personal vault, but back here I have a shulk sensor because it sets off a redstone signal and we can open the doors automatically. And then I have the same thing on the other side, and I'll probably do this for all the doors as we make the base. And this is where I'm keeping my sponges, except I have to name them. At some point we'll stack them, so this will be sponge times however many they are, but I'm using the sponges as a table in the conference room. And you saw Jerox's base. He's right over here. We're just close enough, or just far enough, to where we can see his base. We'll make this spawn area a little fancy. Ooh, I like that pattern. I'm going to try not to show off too much because he's probably explained a lot of stuff in his video. And I'll show you something else he built. So Mr. Jerox made a big machine for XP farms with a cobblestone generator and a lot of pistons, but they don't have miner minions this season, so he's using the cobblestone generator to make all the different ores. And he has some TNT that'll go down into a complicated furnace array that I think he's still working on. And you place a bit of redstone here, and I was supposed to drop TNT down here. And then let's see, does it drop another TNT? Yes, it drops another TNT on some obsidian, and it breaks all the ores, except a lot gets missed over here, and then it goes down into all of these chests. But it takes a lot of gunpowder and several stacks of TNT every hour. Like see, he has several stacks of TNT here. And he has a creeper farm somewhere, so he gets gunpowder from a creeper farm, and then we buy sand and make TNT, and it goes into here. But I'm sure he can explain how all the different timers work much better than me. So right here is going to be a little landing pad where you would land a ship, except I'm going to put a Tesla cybertruck there. And then you walk through this conference room, and Jarks and I can have some meetings over here about the server. And this will be another hallway, and you can access the spawners from here. I need to make this hallway just a little wider, but you'll come through here, and I'll have a storage room, and then a couple of other buildings here, and then maybe we'll make a couple of mines, make a couple of farms, branch out here, like we'll have a tall cactus farm here. It'll be taller than it is wide. I made a tall cactus farm that'll probably be like the size of this area here. It goes up here, and we'll collect that at some point, and then we'll have a storage facility over here, and that'll be one level, and then another level will be something else, and then we'll have some more orange and red blocks to look like lava, just so we can see through it, kind of like we can see through the ground of here, although there's not much to look at since it's just the void. That's okay, but I might continue this building, and I will be back. I really enjoyed the base building that we did just now, but I've also placed some rails ahead of time before this recording, and I want to show you some of the replay mod footage of going back to place some of those rails. So I'll be right back momentarily. So there's a dungeon event in an hour that that I want to do. But there's also another harvest event in 14 minutes, so I want to do that too. But the dungeon event is more important. We're only wearing diamond armor right now. We only have a diamond sword with a couple enchantments. But if we want to be even halfway successful with the dungeon event, we're going to need netherite armor and more enchantments. So Angie, how you can make netherite armor? Well, if you go to shop and you go to ores, you can buy netherite scrap. Don't think we need a whole stack. We'll buy a stack. We'll buy a stack of gold. And you can go to our crafting table, or you can go to /craft and do netherite ingot. And now has 16 ingots. And we'll take off this diamond armor. And this is a upgrade table, so put diamond helmet. So the upgrade table was not working for making the diamond armor into netherite, so I thought, why don't we enchant a new set of diamond armor to combine with our other armor set, and then it'll be air quotes better. So we'll do this. We'll take off that armor set, and we'll go over here to an anvil, and we'll combine some helmets, and we'll combine the chest plate, and we'll combine leggings, and we're going to combine the helmet, but we'll combine the boots, and they're air quotes better, at least for now. And then we can enchant a diamond sword and add knockback on it. And then, we're going to run out of levels. But we can combine the 2 diamond swords, and it'll have... Oh no, I added Bane of Arthropods. That's not good. That's not good. We don't want to fight more spiders. Oh well. But we have some enchanted books. Let's see if we can add these. We can add... I don't know what that does. We can add that. So now we have Ender Shift on our helmet. And we can add Harden. That failed to enchant. We can add Ender Shift to the boots. Oh, that was applied. And I think we already have that, so we don't need to use that. We can use Firework. That didn't enchant. And we can add Reaper. That didn't enchant properly. So I might have to do some more enchanting and combining for a few minutes, but I'm not going to do a time lapse. I'm just simply going to cut to that, and then we'll go to the crystal dungeon, because I think that's the only dungeon I can go to right now. Oh, the dungeon event has started. I actually added the flow trim piece to our set. I'll have to look up in a few minutes what it does, but you have to have a breeze rod and in order to copy it. But I have more pieces. Where are the mobs? I enchanted a bow as well, but it's not very good. So there's several different dungeons. This is the crystal dungeon. There's a yellow dungeon called the ancient dungeon. There's a stone and vine dungeon called the overgrown dungeon. There's something called the ancient dungeon. That's a mostly black dungeon that has a lot of trying to think of the name, drown mobs. So we're actually doing pretty good so far with this sword, even though it's only at Bane of Arthropods. You've got a skeletal dungeon that's a red and gray dungeon that has a lot of skeleton and wither skeleton mobs. It's also got some zombie librarian villagers, and then you've got the dark dungeon, which has a lot of piglin based villagers. or piglin based mobs, and you got the Catacombs dungeon, which has a lot of other high level skeleton mobs. Like, see, if we want to go to ancient dungeon, we want to go to here. I don't want to go to the Catacombs or Dark Dungeon because we're not even close to being strong enough. We want netherite, but we're going to keep taking out these mobs. It would be nice if Mr. Jocks was with us, but he's not. I did some enchanting by getting some levels at the mining area. So you mine just emeralds and lapis, redstone, and diamonds, and I have a block stacker for that, and for coal as well. I'll show you that back at the base once we finish this dungeon event. All these events last 10 minutes. I did do a harvest event in between, but I didn't show that because I didn't think it was necessary. But at some other point we'll go to all the other dungeons and show off doing that. If you go to Season 3 Island Base or Bamboo Island Tour, you can see a few replay mods of going to the Skeletal Dungeon, the Dark Dungeon, and the Catacombs Dungeon. And that was fun. But this is the Lost Dungeon now. I think so. No. It's the Ancient Dungeon. I'm getting the dungeons mixed up. This dungeon event will probably be the last thing we do for today, just because of time-wise. But where's the next? Where's the next? Oh, here's somebody to fight. Over there is where the boss would spawn if the Ancient Dungeon's boss was spawning, but that's not right now. I do like how all the different dungeons are unique and have their own look, but I want to keep fighting these dungeons. I need to make sure I'm not recording a replay mod, because they're not doing a replay mod for this right now. I'll have to look at what the flow armor does. I can actually do that now. If I look it up, I was looking at it on this page. I don't want to look at that. The flow. What does the flow armor trim do? It does this. I don't know, it doesn't say. But we're gonna go back to doing the dungeon. And if we wanna go to the overgrowth dungeon, it's like this. I think we can still do it. We have some arrows so we can shoot a few things. We're definitely not gonna win the dungeon event because of how many times I stopped. Arrgh! Oh, I did a couple really good replay mods here. Uh-oh. This bow doesn't do very much damage yet because it only has a couple of enchants on it. You can get a lot more enchants later on. Mr. Jokes is probably going to go do dungeon events at some point. Uh-oh, we're on fire. I'll look up later what the flow armor does, because that's kind of a new thing. You've got trims for all the armor. Like one, I actually don't know. One might give extra fire protection. One might give extra damage. One might be just extra enchants for different things. And I know things is not very specific. Here's another overgrowth knight. We're gonna take it out. At some point we can get a war hammer or an Advancius sword. The war hammer is a netherite axe, and it just does extra damage. and the netherite Advancius sword does more damage too. But we don't have the ingredients to make those. This thing's gonna attack us. Ow! I have a totem of undying, just in case we die. But we won't die because we'll respawn with the netherite. We'll respawn with the totem of undying. This overgrowth champion has a lot of health. And then we got another overgrowth knight. I do like this dungeon. I can't teleport to the next dungeon because there's too many mobs fighting us, and I can't look at it in the Ortho Cam because since we're underground, we'll go over here. If you want to look at Ortho Camera. Oh, this is how it looks. That's pretty cool. But we're going to turn off the Ortho Camera because I don't want to die. But you can do that with all of the dungeons. Like, see, we can go to home, and then we can go to dungeon and go to the ancient dungeon. We'll teleport in 3 seconds, and you can see the overgrowth dungeon looks like this. And then we can go to dungeon, and we can go to the crystal dungeon, and we'll see how it looks. This is how the crystal dungeon looks. And then if we go to the shadow dungeon, it looks like this. Ooh, oh, you can't see in there very well because it's a solid square. But then if we want to go to the skeletal dungeon, it looks like this. You can't see very well into it because it's a. Ooh, I like seeing the view from this. And then if you go to dungeon, lost dungeon, it'll look like this. Ooh. Oh yeah, I like this one because it's got this big open area with a bunch of custom palm trees. And then if you go to the dark dungeon, we might not be able to see inside of it because it's all a big wall. But this is how the dark dungeon looks with Ortho Camera. And then if we want to go to the catacombs dungeon, see how it looks. It looks like this. Ooh. That's pretty cool. We'll go explore all of these dungeons at some point. We're going to go back to the crystal dungeon. Except I think the dungeon event is about to start. Actually, no, it's about to end. But we're at the crystal dungeon, and I'll show you the block stacker I made at my base once this event has ended. There's probably only like 30 more seconds on the dungeon event. So if we go to, not that, if we go to events, oh, it never said it ended, but we go to home, and this will be the last thing we do for today. You can see I added a block stacker over here, so we have some lapis blocks, some emerald blocks, some diamond blocks, some coal blocks, some sponges that we'll add more to. We have some redstone blocks and some iron blocks that we will stack. And I'm going to continue collecting sponges for this table, so it looks like a really expensive table. Jerox will join us in the next episode, perhaps. And I have that over here to be a lava thing. See his base, and you can see how my base looks so far. Might want to take a screenshot of that. There we go. We'll take this screenshot and do this. But anyway, I'm going to leave you here. And we'll come back in the next episode and do some building. And maybe we'll do something with Xerox. Maybe we will do this Nether island. And I'll show you. I added a lot more rails over to the bamboo farm. You come down here. I need to add more up here. More up here. And then I have a lot up here. I need to go get more bamboo. And that's it. But anyway, good night to you.